So, something really big happened for the entertainment industry today, and I kind of wanted to talk about it because what I've been seeing online is some very surface level things, but I think there's a little bit more in this acquisition that a lot of people may not understand. So, I kind of want to go through what I understand of this. Um, so, the gist of it is that Netflix is set to acquire Warner Brothers for about $72 billion. Now, for those that don't know, an acquisition this big has to be approved by the federal government. Historically, I have not been good at predicting what Trump's administration is going to do, but I do currently expect this will go through, just given time for the actual process. If it does go through, this is a pretty big deal because there's a lot under Warner Brothers that's being acquired, including some things that aren't being acquired. And that's what I haven't seen a lot of people really talking about because I don't think a lot of people have actually been reading the brief from Netflix. Um, what is being acquired? So there's a couple things being acquired here. It's first of all, it's going to be its film studios, its gaming, its streaming arm, which is going to be HBO and HBO Max. That might be the biggest deal of it, is Netflix just acquiring another giant streaming service like HBO, which again is acquired by currently owned by Warner Brothers. Also in this though is the video game division of Warner Brothers Games. So Netflix has actually tried to branch into gaming in the past. I haven't seen anything come from it, which if it's not old school RuneScape, maybe I don't pay enough attention, but I don't think it's been doing well. But this is an opportunity for them to get some really big IPs and previous work and kind of grow from there. So this could be really big for its gaming development. What's not being acquired, though, are cable assets. And this is not a whole lot compared to what Warner Brothers owns, but certain things like cable network news agencies are not being acquired here. Those are going to be spun off into a separate company still owned by Warner Brothers. A name for that hasn't been given yet because it's not really important yet, though I'm sure they'll come out with more details a little bit later. The other thing that's really important to know is that Warner Brothers does have some very massive intellectual property that Netflix is going to be getting a hold of, which means it can use that for its video games, it can create television for it, it can create movies for this. Probably the biggest one, I'm assuming the biggest one, I should have looked this up before recording, but I'm not doing this again, is DC Comics. DC Comics, if you're not familiar, is going to be like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, like that, those kinds of superhero things. I think that's going to be their biggest one. They are also acquiring things like Harry Potter, which I think Harry Potter has kind of been dying. And things like Game of Thrones, which there are still ongoing series and upcoming series for Games of Thrones. If we're super lucky, maybe we can get them to redo the entire last season of Game of Thrones. That's unrealistic. They're not going to do that. But I would like to dream of a better last season. Regardless, though, a lot of this going under Netflix's umbrella means you probably will only be able to watch this content under Netflix now. And they're going to be in charge of making this content. And this is a really big shift for Netflix. Because Netflix primarily is a library to watch shows. They have been making their own shows for quite a while. Some of which have actually done extremely well. Shout out to BoJack Horseman. But getting access to these studios in Hollywood is going to be a lot of opportunity for Netflix to even ramp this up, which I think they're going to continue to do. And that's probably a really big part of the acquisition too. This is a lot of risk for Netflix though, because like DC is really popular, but the DC movies haven't been as well received as the Marvel ones. So there's a chance they're going to be getting some like intellectual property and it's just going to flop. But that's way out in the future. So, yeah, we don't exactly know yet. There are a few concerns over this though. Certain people, especially in Hollywood, are worried this is reducing competition, which is going to be creating a bigger monopoly in the industry. And they're also worried about things getting funneled together, which means it'll be even harder to break into this industry because you have less stores to be able to go through. The other thing that's worrisome, and this hasn't been like announced yet, is what's going to be happening to theatrical releases. Movie theaters have taken a huge hit since COVID. And Netflix acquiring them is probably not good for movie theaters either. Because Netflix is a streaming service. They don't put stuff in theaters. So with them acquiring Warner Brothers, are they going to make more stuff for theaters now? Or are they just going to bring everything to their own platform, which is their current, I guess prior to this, their current strategy is just bring people to the Netflix platform. I imagine they're going to try to bring people to Netflix platforms, which would be really bad for movie theaters. What they did say, though, or what Netflix said, is that any commitments that they already have for ongoing films that have like contracts about theatrical releases, they're going to honor. They're not going to fight any of that. So everything that's already set in stone will remain and go into theaters. Anything new, though, is really up in the air. But realistically, I think most, at least Americans would agree with me, movie theaters are dying. With everything being streamable, I think you're going to see a lot more direct-to-streaming services in the future. And I think that's just the direction the industry is really going. That's what I think. If you disagree, I don't know, write a comment and tell me I'm wrong. But I feel pretty confident about that one. So as far as what's happening next, there's a few questions still up in the air. But like I said, the announcement was just today, so I'm sure there will be more announcements. More decisions will have to be made as the federal government gets involved. But certain things like, are they going to keep HBO and Warner Brothers and Netflix kind of separated as they are now? Are they going to try to bring everything directly under the Netflix umbrella for streaming? If they do, is that going to increase the price of subscription for Netflix, which has already been going up over time? Will this get any kind of like regulatory pushback? What about people that are actually like working in the industry? If they're going to like say or do anything or be less likely to work with them because they're kind of building towards a monopoly? We don't really know. But the biggest thing is just kind of how this is going to affect the people that currently subscribe to Netflix. And the quick answer is you're not going to see anything for a while. At least not until this goes through, assuming it goes through. The probably most immediate thing is I imagine Netflix subscribers will get access to everything in HBO and Warner Brothers, but again, they haven't set their entire strategy open yet. So who really knows? Regardless, this is a like pretty big deal. We'll see more going through. If more stuff comes out, I'll probably post more videos. So do the YouTube stuff. If you watch the whole video, consider subscribing because I don't have a lot of subscribers and I would appreciate that. That's it. If you disagree, write a comment and tell me why I'm wrong or why I'm right. I'd prefer to be right, but whatever. That's it. See ya. Thanks for staying here.